This is your toast with the most, Tyler and Toast, bringing you another Battlefield 1 video. In this video, I want to talk about Team Deathmatch. Is Team Deathmatch worth playing in Battlefield 1? In the background, you guys are seeing some TDM gameplay on the map, Giant's Shadow. I'm playing with a friend, I'm playing as support, he's playing as medic, which is fantastic because it allowed me to go flawless because he revived me a couple times. Whether or not you want to call that flawless or not, I'm going to because it makes me feel good about myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Here we go. If you play Team Deathmatch, and especially if you solely play Team Deathmatch, then you're missing out on the Battlefield experience. You're missing out on so many things that Battlefield 1 has to offer. But at the same time, Team Deathmatch is fun, it's good, and I personally use it as a warm-up game before I go into a game mode like Conquest. I'll play 1 to 3 games just to warm up my shot so my shot's on point, and then I'll go into the other game modes. So while you're missing out on some of the things in Battlefield 1, Team Deathmatch is still a very solid game mode. If you're tired of tanks sniping you from across the map, if you're tired of bombers doing strafing runs and dropping bombs on you, if you're tired of running for miles and miles at a time, then play TDM. I get that. Don't get me wrong, I love Conquest, I love Rush, and I'm going to talk about some of the downsides to just playing TDM, but when you get tired of all those things, go to TDM. You don't have to worry about that. You can focus more on just your raw gun skill, honing in your aim, focus on your flanks, focus on your map positioning, your map awareness at a much smaller scale. It feels much less random because there's a lot less people, and you can really just focus in on these smaller things at a smaller level. I used to be a huge Call of Duty guy, and one of the main strategies and the main mechanic, if you will, of Call of Duty, whether it's the boots on the ground old Call of Duties or the new jumping Call of Duties, spawns. Spawns are absolutely huge, and I'm going to compare the TDM spawns of Call of Duty to the TDM spawns of Battlefield for anyone transitioning over. In Call of Duty, it's not spawn memorization, it's knowing where your team is to deduct where the enemy team is. If your whole team pushes up all the way to the other side of the map, well, what's going to happen? You're going to flip spawns. The enemy is going to now spawn where you originally spawned. That's just how they work. They're going to try to spawn the enemy as far away from you as possible. You can use this information to mitigate where your team is going to spawn, as well as where the enemy team is going to spawn. This is especially important in objective modes, but also in TDM because you can kind of lock them in a zone where they can't get out of. This is a good thing because the spawns feel organized because there's a method to what's going on. In Battlefield 1, TDM specific, I don't feel this. Maybe it's because I've played way more Call of Duty than Battlefield, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the spawns in Battlefield 1 are bad because I don't think that they are at all. The main difference in Battlefield is that you can choose to either spawn in a generic spot where the game thinks that it's safest for you to spawn, or you can pick one of your 4 squad mates to spawn on. And odds are, if your entire team pushes the other side of the map, the enemy team will start to spawn on the opposite end. But a combination of being able to choose where you spawn, for instance, if your whole squad except for one dies, and then everyone chooses to spawn on him who's doing a flank, well then your whole squad is already on the other side of the map. And with the game being 12v12, there's just more people, so there's more room for error, if you will, in the spawns. Both of these things add a little uncertainty to the map flow and the map spawn. Now, I'm not saying that Battlefield spawns are bad by any means, or that the flow of the game is bad by any means. I'm just correlating a difference between Battlefield and Call of Duty spawns. I absolutely love the way that the game works in Battlefield 1. Very rarely have I had a spawn that's bad. If so, it's because I chose to spawn on a squad mate who is in fire, in danger, whatever, so I can try to help him out, and then I end up dying because, well, you know, whatever. That's enough about spawns for now. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Battlefield 1 spawns in TDM specific, as well as the other game modes. Let me give you some quick tips if you are going to play TDM. First, if you're playing solo, play as a medic. The medic is the most sustainable class in Battlefield 1. Not only do you have great damaging weapons with great accuracy, but you can heal yourself. That is absolutely huge. You can heal yourself and your squad mates. If you're playing with a full squad or even one other person, play as a support and play as a medic. That's what me and TJ are doing in this game, and it absolutely works, as you can see. I'm constantly feeding him ammo and myself ammo, and he's constantly giving me health when I am so near death and would otherwise probably die. So the support and medic are bomb-ass classes for TDM, but what about assault and scout? Well, scout, while still viable sometimes with some of the maps being open, you're not going to reach the full potential that you would in, say, Conquest, where the maps are ginormous and it's going to be a lot harder for you to get flanked. Assault's not going to be near as good because what's the Assault class for? It's for destroying vehicles. Are there vehicles in TDM? No. However, if you're playing specifically the map Suez, go from building to building, and you know how a lot of people try to camp the rooftops on those turrets and such? Well, just throw dynamite in the second story and you'll blow that building up, and you'll usually kill quite a few people. It's fantastic. Even so, with those few specific instances in mind, Scout and Assault just do not compare to the medic and support classes in TDM. There are tactics and equipment that I wouldn't say are rendered useless because they're still fun to use and fun to try, but I wouldn't say that they're at their full potential. Another main difference is the map size. The maps are much smaller in Domination and TDM than they are in Conquest or Rush. This is going to change how you play drastically. You're going to flank much differently in a big map than you are in a small map. The lines of sight are going to be different. The meta game is going to be different. Not just because you're playing in a different area, and not just because there's no vehicles, but that Model 10A shotgun you love so much, yeah, you're going to be seeing that a lot more in the smaller game modes. It's going to change up the classes. It's going to change up what guns you use. It's going to change the meta game. So maps are a huge thing, and if you only play TDM, you are really missing out on, I would say, a good 80% of the game, because there's so much more to the map than just this small area. And this is something I really wish Battlefield 1 would do, is, let's take this map for instance. You have this TDM portion of the map. Why can't they take another like 15% of the Conquest map and do a TDM map over here or over here? And same thing for all the maps. But it's not all bad because the Conquest version of this map I actually don't like at all. But this little area of the map, I love. There's also no point of squad leader in TDM because you can't point to any objectives. Combine no squad leader, no objectives, no vehicles to destroy, your score per minute's gonna plummet. While Team Deathmatch has its place and it's very fun, and it can really focus on some core skill assets, you're missing out on the Battlefield experience. You're missing out on so much that Battlefield 1 has to offer. So I encourage you, if you only play TDM or the smaller game modes, go out and play Conquest, go play Rush. If you only play the bigger modes, try TDM, give it a go. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of TDM in Battlefield 1. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, it really does help me out. I'm going to do more Battlefield 1 videos. I think I'm going to do a video like this for each mode in Battlefield 1, and of course have epic gameplay of that mode in the background for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new, subscribe. My name's Tyler and Toast, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.